Westmont, Illinois, suburban Chicago, the western suburbs, as we kick off the day 2 competition here at the CCIW Championship. Emil Williams Jr. here with you. And if you had the number 1 versus number 2 seeds competing, you certainly would be thinking about, yeah, that'd be a good idea. Of course, right? The number 1 and number 2 would certainly bowl each other, perhaps in the title match. But probably what you didn't have on your bingo card was the number 1 and the number 2 seeds bowling in an elimination match on Sunday morning. They are 1 round early, perhaps in most people's minds, but that is what we have for you this morning. Number 1, Marion of Wisconsin versus number 2, Carroll. And both of these teams kind of on a roller coaster yesterday. For Marion, they started off the day yesterday defeating Elmhurst 2-0 in some very close matchups, specifically the traditional game that came down to just a handful of pins. Then they fell in the afternoon session to Aurora, which went the distance. A full tiebreaker best of 7. It went all 7 games, and it went in the way of Aurora. Aurora University is waiting in the wings in the CCIW title match. They get to sleep in. Hopefully they're still sleeping, not waking up to watch this. But if Aurora is up, congratulations. Look forward to seeing you this afternoon. Great bowling yesterday. But they need an opponent, folks, in that title match, and it's either going to be Marion, whom Aurora faced last year in the CCIW Championship, and Marion won the title and got the spot, and, of course, the automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. Or could it be Carroll? Carroll's day started in the opposite direction. It went to a tiebreak with Aurora in the morning. They lost that tiebreak in 6 games. And then late yesterday in their match against Elmhurst, Carroll figured something out. And they moved a little closer to the gutter, started to line up a little kind of right to left around 4, 5, 6-ish. And I'm talking about boards around the first arrow. And kind of utilizing lane play based on kind of the pattern, what the pattern suggests. The 34-foot lane condition, just shy of 25 mils. But with a short distance, we talked about coaches referring to this bowling center and the gutter not playing too much, not being favorable. But Carroll took a risk, and it paid off. They bowled their 4 highest Baker games of the day yesterday. In fact, they bowled the 4 highest Baker games of any team yesterday to win their tiebreak 4-1 over Elmhurst. And so here we go. 1 versus 2. The winner will advance to face Aurora University in the CCIW title match again later this afternoon. It is the mega match format. And as always, traditional game is first, followed by a 5-game Baker pinfall set. Should the teams be tied at 1 point each after that point, we will then head to the best of 7 tiebreak. Already a familiar lineup so far for Coach Dan Mueller and company as Abby Giddings gets things started. First frame, and we are officially underway with the Marion University Sabres. And now the first shot from Carroll. That is Hannah Bartlett, and I thought Hannah continued to bowl pretty well yesterday, specifically after she was moved into the leadoff role. I thought her energy, and really most importantly, shot making. She's a second-team All-CCIW Conference selection. Now, the difference today, folks, and I talked about what Carroll did yesterday, making a big move right. I think both teams made a concerted effort to try to break the lanes down a little bit better in their favor, right? And so I think what Carroll wanted to do will be altered already, simply because, you know, Marion was out there, you know, throwing some shots near the gutter as well. And so there might be a concerted effort to make a bigger jump left pretty early. As you can see, the lane's starting to hook down lane. This is where the lefties really might come into play today. Kylie Olson, who struggled with Carrie sporting the glasses this morning. It's probably too early for Kylie. And I feel you, Kylie. It is a little early for bowling. You know, sometimes we wake up early, right? It's like, I got to wear the glasses. Maybe my eyes are a little irritated. It's a long day. Can't put the contacts in. Oh, okay, Hope. However they go down, Hope, is how it goes down. I want to thank all of you for joining us here this morning. If you're a fan of either Marion or Carroll, obviously big opportunity for both teams. Aurora is sitting pretty, literally, and it's because when that title match begins this afternoon, they will have to be defeated twice. 2 mega matches, and boy, we had some long mega matches yesterday. Yesterday was, and I've done a lot of bowling in my day, but in the mega match format, specifically NCAA events, that was probably the longest mega match involved day I'd ever seen. That was a really good look, even though the spare was missed, right? And it's obviously not what Allison wanted, but you can see some of the intangibles of this pattern, right? In particular, it's still 34 feet, right? So if you miss left, it's short. We're on the fresh, so back end's still crisp. It's going to take a few shots and some oil to be pushed down the lane before the lane starts to settle and kind of blend out. So that's important. That might take about a half a game or so to kind of see more bowling balls going down the lane, pushing some oil or carrying some oil down. Also, something to keep in mind, right? Every time the pattern is reapplied, it does play differently. In many cases, it plays truer in a sense, right? So the back ends, unsurprisingly, look a little extra crisp. It's like if you go to KFC or Raising Cane's and you ask for your chicken extra crispy, that's what the back ends look like so far here this morning. I think maybe one person so far has hit the pocket on either side, left or right. High lanes 25 and 26. Marion on the left, Carroll on the right. First frame, I won't say there's some first frame jitters, but I would say, maybe a little bit of just uneasiness, if you will, right? It's an elimination match. There's no one in the building. You're the only match going right now. We got some fans in attendance. I think the bowling center, just now opening up for business to have some open play. All eyes are on you, right? You kind of come out a little uneasy. Just like any other sport, right? Sometimes it takes a layup or a short jump shot. You need to see the ball go into the bucket, to the hoop, to feel a little confident. Brenna Shakira. Brenna changing up her look too a little bit today. No braid. She's just going straight ponytail. Teams switch lanes after each frame, of course. Yesterday for Carroll, Hannah Bartlett shot 226 in the traditional game. against Elmhurst to win that point. And of course, ultimately, Carroll went on to win the match 2-1. But neither team has bowled particularly well in the traditional. Marion shot 870 yesterday against Aurora. And then yesterday morning, Marion shot 857. I think 870 is the highest traditional game for either team. No one has eclipsed 900. Carroll yesterday morning shot 843. I mentioned, Aurora, of course, waiting in the wings, and hopefully they're not awake. But there's one person that I do know that's awake, and that's Coach Rich. I guarantee you that gentleman is up. He's got some coffee, maybe a little breakfast. He also strikes me as a newspaper kind of guy. I'm a newspaper kind of guy. He might have a newspaper up, and he's ready to go. That's a good shot. Bang. Oh my. We're seeing different bowling balls going down the lane too. And what I mean by that is, I think yesterday we saw a fair share of relatively strong equipment. And sometimes strong equipment on short is a good thing. Sometimes it's not so good. It does depend on how you're playing the lanes and where you're playing them. I think talking to Carroll yesterday, they went to some equipment that was a bit cleaner, which helped their players get the bowling balls through the front part of the lane with not with ease, but just helps them with that task. Made the decisions to utilize, or I should say to move right, a little bit easier. Get the right bowling balls to get down the lane a little bit better. I think the question today will be, yesterday we saw a lot of what I called the funnel. And again, learning more about house characteristics from talking to, shout out to Dan Bartoloni, for example. These lanes, nice spare on the super washout. Allison Will, who also, by the way, shot 226 yesterday morning. So Carroll has benefited from two players, one in each match of their traditional yesterday, shoot 220 or better, 226 to be exact, which really was the difference in each of their traditional wins. Will we see the same thing today? But in regards to house characteristics, the lanes are still relatively new from what I understand. They got a new install right before COVID, and then COVID happened. Shortino, who struggled a little bit yesterday, she was not smiling yesterday morning. It's nice to see her smile early and with an early double here. This is Ilana into the 310. So with new lanes comes you need a little bit of wear and tear, right? So if this is a high lineage center, which I don't know that answer, but if it is, that typically means a lot of league bowling, a lot of open play. Sometimes if you get a lower lineage center, doesn't mean that the business is not making money. It just means that maybe there's not a lot of league play, but they've got a ton of open play, and vice versa. But with that said, 5 years with new lanes is not really a long time. And so it doesn't look like, based on what I saw yesterday, that a track has really developed. It's the difference between bowling on 5-year panels and 30-year panels. So yesterday I talked a lot about, man, I'm watching balls in the track and where you might see just a little bit of wrinkle, right? Just a little bit of hook, especially on a 34-foot pattern, even though that's kind of where the shim area is, where the oil meets, if you will. There just wasn't a lot of hook in the track, and that actually struck me. Here's a good example right here. Now, yesterday, that ball may not have hooked. Now, that's a combination of, again, new lane play strategies for both teams. But a player got a little bit quick in the track area yesterday, and you saw a ton of washouts. Now, I got to give a shout out to Anne Marie, even though she didn't know she was doing this maybe, but she was throwing urethane early in some of the matches with that featured Aurora, and urethane pushes oil quickly. This today is where like you'd like to see a little bit of urethane go down the lane just to help blend the lane quicker for the players. So shots like, what Brenna just did that looked pretty good for about 45 feet and then kind of duck hook. That's what I mean, where the lanes aren't quite blended yet. The pattern hasn't blended yet. So no hold has truly developed at this point. It wasn't me. But it is my alarm too. It is 8:40 a.m. Lori Decker's got to wake up. Shout out to Lori Decker too from Elmhurst, one of the best players in the conference here at the CCIW. Bowled pretty well yesterday, had her team in good position to certainly advance to today. Did not end up working out. It's a good break there for Bartlett and Carroll, but Lori is here. She actually works with the sports information director at Elmhurst as part of her collegiate capstone. She's majoring in digital media and communications. So she is here on hand to provide any assistance to the SID Matt, who's been great. Taking some photos already earlier this morning. That's got a push. And a 4-pin. The first 5 frames will be very interesting here. Hold on. Carroll's just they got a little bit of a different energy, and it started last night. And winning will certainly change your energy, no doubt about it. And that's one reason I'm really looking forward to seeing Aurora. I thought their energy levels were really good throughout. And I don't think we could say the same from that aspect of every team. It's like, yes, they went 2-0, but there were moments where they could have easily went in the wrong direction, and they didn't allow that to happen. Great shot. Allison will at it again. This is kind of the game plan, again, that Carroll went to yesterday, or I should say last night, versus Elmhurst. And it produced 4 consecutive games of 208, 202, 205, and 210. And on this pattern yesterday, those were no doubt wins versus Elmhurst. Shortino looking for 3 in a row, needs some help. And that's a good break, just leaving a 3-pin. We gotta watch out for Elena here. She has a little bit of loft and also some forward roll. So if she kind of gets off target, especially on the fresh, right? She missed one or missed a 5-pin in frame 1. So as long as her target is or ball's going in the right direction toward her target, typically she will be around the 1-3. But because she doesn't really get it into a roll early, gotta watch what the lanes are doing, coupled with her kind of natural loft. Ava Butt, the CCIW Student Athlete of the Year and also a first-team All-CCIW selection. She's got a good chance, so maybe not. I thought that was going to hold line. She probably got a couple more boards right to work with. Jocelyn Eggert, also a first-team All-CCIW selection, along with teammate Brenna Shakira. And Brenna just never got comfortable yesterday. Love to see her get going this morning. Much better shot. That was a really good shot. She might have to use something that's just going to be a little bit tamer on the back end. Right, we talked about smooth bowling balls. In this situation, I think that would be a good idea for Brenna, just to leave 9, leave a couple makeables and get comfortable in that regard. All right, because yesterday it was like, okay, my ball's not really hooking. Today, my ball is hooking too much. Navarre's assistance for Marion just motioned to Brenna. He gave her almost like a baseball. They were doing baseball signals. Yeah, we're about to go steal home. But he gave her a 3, put up 3 fingers and 1. So to me, that means 3 and 1 left. She might move 3 boards with her feet and 1 with her target. Now, I'd be shocked if it was going to be a 3 and 1 right, but we'll see what happens. Giddings, that's going to go left and in the perfect spot. Unfortunate miscue there for Hope. We saw a couple of gutters yesterday, and that's not uncommon, too, on a short pattern. Right, and the other thing was, even though there weren't that many players playing closer to the gutter, we did see a few balls go in the channel. From every team. Every team had at least one channel dweller. Olsen. Oh, that one read the lane beautifully. Nice spare for Hope. This is a confident young lady. She has the type of smile that you'd like to bottle up. And when someone's having a bad day, especially in bowling, we would just give a piece of Hope's smile to someone else so they could also have that same type of joy. Allison. One beneficial item that I've noticed about Allison, I think, is she does have a higher ball speed, so she throws it pretty firm. As long as she's on target with it, it's generally going to give herself a chance. That's how she shot 226 yesterday. But especially when the back ends are crisp and you feel like you can benefit by throwing it a little bit harder, help it get down the lane a little bit quicker. That's an intangible that Allison possesses here for Carroll. Allison Will, the freshman, majoring in nursing from Greenfield, Wisconsin. Hook. Oh, yeah. Now, see, Eggert's got a little bit of room to work with today. Right, yesterday she didn't have that room. Yeah, that was one of those where it would have thought about hooking and then maybe decided just to kind of lay off, and she'd be in that washout zone. Shortino missed it at the bottom, I think, a little bit. Coach Mason Petrin, CCIW Coach of the Year for Carroll. His assistant is Courtney Ermish. She's the former head coach. She stepped down to the assistant level and essentially promoting Mason. Oh, good shot. That 3-and-1 might have been the key there. Really good shot from Brenna. But watching those two work together, of course, was very key yesterday. If you know Courtney Ermish, she's a pretty animated person anyway. And so when you get her in a competitive environment, that animated level goes up about 100 decimal points. And so she was, having some conversations with the team, and ultimately it just kind of came down to, okay, let's make sure, let's limit the damage, right? Let's remove missing the head pin right. And so that was part of the process. Ultimately, they made the big jump, probably 10 boards right. Speaking of Carroll, good spare from Shakira, and she is on the board. Ava, high, and a late trip of the 7. And just the 4-pin stands as Carroll's going to have the lead through 4 frames. If we had all of the stats from yesterday for every player, it wouldn't be a situation where for all the teams, it wouldn't be their most flattering, right? There were a lot of missed spares yesterday from every team. The lane conditions certainly played a role. But I think what drives coaches most of the time up the wall is controlling or not controlling the things that you can control, which in our sport typically revolves around spare shooting, makeable spares, single pin spares, things that you have full control over. You practice a gazillion times, right? And so you just gotta go through your pre-shot routine and do the best, certainly, job that you can in making that spare. That's gonna go left. And just a 9-pin. And so today it's undoubtedly, whoever makes the most spares today is gonna win the tournament. I don't think there's any question about it. And I had to take an extra breath there. She wasn't quite sure. Ooh, head pin was right there. Close to making contact with the 10-pin. Oh, that's going to peel. Oh, my goodness. Hope. Well, if we had a replay on that shot, as Hope has done that twice. Speaking of doing it twice, how about Kylie Olson? She made a ball change to that Ion Max yesterday and had an immediate double. And I'm thinking, okay, she's going to be off to the races. But it was a very, very minuscule way of stopping what ultimately was bad carry for Olson. And I talked to Coach Mueller about that earlier, and he said she experienced the same thing at the Music City Classic a couple weeks ago, which was the final NCAA regular season event in Smyrna, Tennessee. Well, that was a good shot. Probably the best one of this match so far here for Elena. Tough spare here. The old 1, 3, 6, 8, 10. Might do it. Ooh. Courtney Ermish is a natural coach. One of the reasons she stepped down from being the full-time coach here is to be a softball coach. She's a head softball coach. I forgot the high school in Wisconsin. Sortino, that's got a really good chance. Yep, you just got to be near the head pin. But angle is important. Ermish right now working with Allison just so she can kind of feel what's happening with the arm swing. Meanwhile, Eggert, Jocelyn is a really good player. You know, Eggert and Shakira, probably the best 4 or 5 as a team, right? As a duo. When you try to get set up for Baker and you've got Eggert and Shakira, they're a difficult duo to beat when they are on. Oh, that could be it for Ava. Oh, see it. I think her best executed shot so far here through 5. Speaking of execution, bang. Shakira knocks him down. Shakira. Get me to singing in here this morning, ladies and gentlemen. Perhaps most importantly of any match to this point, the winner of this traditional might win the match. You had your 1 versus 2 teams in the conference. Marion on the season 10-2, Carroll 9-3. Again, in the regular season meets, they had 2 CCIW meets. Conference awards decided from those meets as well. Halfway home, it's a 1-pin advantage for Marion. And Bartlett starts frame 6 with all 10 down. Now Abby Giddings looking to match. Marion out on the right lane. They've got the M logo on the back of the jersey. It's got a chance. There it is. 6 right into the 10. Coach Mueller to my left looking on. Shook his head as soon as Giddings let that go. He knew it was good. Here is Hope. Minette again. Okay. I don't want to get too into the finer details, if you will, but if there is one thing Hope has to kind of worry about, it is the possible 7-10, and it's because of her ball roll and how she gets out of it in the front part of the lane. Olsen, a little bit of loft. Oh, and it is 10 back. And all 3 have looked the same. Not worrying about carry right now is Kylie Olson. That was for the most part, that was about a 90% executed frame right there from Hope. That spare ball just rolled right off the pin deck. Or actually before it rolled off the pin deck into the gutter, excuse me. The Olsen three-bagger right now is key. And if Eggert can add one more when it's her turn in the sixth frame, this might be Marion's chance to kind of bust the game wide open here. But Allison says, not just yet. Sam Shortino for Carroll, looking for a double. Sometimes, folks, bowling is just about being comfortable. And for a good portion of the day, the majority of every team's players at one point or another were just uncomfortable. Some more than others. You could argue the least uncomfortable team is the one who is not bowling this morning, and that's Aurora, because they have got a spot in the title match. They didn't allow, their struggles to play too big of a role into how they proceeded about their business yesterday. But there were moments where they were uncomfortable. And they allowed, the longer the match got, the better Aurora got. Folks, to put it lightly, that is simply a look that Eggert just did not have yesterday. She was throwing balls in that same vicinity yesterday, but she wasn't seeing the down lane motion with the same bowling ball. Truly, crazy what a day makes, but really when you apply what you learned, give it a run, Ava. When you apply what you learned and put that into practice, literally during the practice session this morning, trying to break down the lanes, do a better job of that. That's a little bit left, yep. Missed inside a target there, did Brenna. Yesterday in the morning, Marion, after defeating, I believe it was Elmhurst. Yes, it was Elmhurst in the opening match. They began their Baker competition 225-213. That's what I'm anticipating here. Not only just for Marion, but perhaps for Carroll too. But I do anticipate Marion to be very good in Baker, no matter how this traditional game ends up. No matter the outcome there, I think Marion overall right now has a much better feel for the lanes and what it's doing, what the pair is asking, what the pattern is asking, because they played a role in helping to shape the pattern this morning and are a bit more confident and comfortable in what's going down. I think that spells a lot of success for them. So Carroll, again, no matter what happens here, Carroll will have their work cut out for them in Baker coming up next. Carroll today in their black jerseys with the orange trim. We've got Carroll across the back in orange with a black trim. It's a nice snazzy jersey they're rocking today. It's a good reminder for just all of us. You know, if you bowl league or you bowl tournaments, yeah, I think sometimes watching the players so far through, now day number 2 here, I'll finish that thought after the Olsen shot. Right now, the lone lefty. Fast 8. Watching the missed spares, the players just got to take that extra step to make sure that their shoulders, hips are aligned with the target. Boy, Courtney and Mason have got Hope lined up. It's just up to her to handle the execution part, but she definitely knows where she should be. She's got the right ball. For her, it looks like something with a little bit of shine to it, or at least lane shine. So it's easier, I should say, again, to get down the lane. Got a couple players from Marion headed to the warm-up pair down on 31 and 32. Good spare from Elena. Shortino needs it to push. It does. Just find it, put it in the right spot. Now, today's funnel, much different than yesterday's funnel. Eggert. Stopped by a 9-pin. Good to see her smiling too, because she was completely frustrated. Again, yesterday was one of those days. Right, no one saw the picture pretty clear. Coaches, as they're figuring some things out, right? It's like pass that along to the players, and they were just uncomfortable, and which made it a little bit difficult for players to be able to execute. As the day went on, I think the players got a little bit more comfortable on what was happening. And then, Carroll kind of really set the blueprint. They put that in action today, as did Marion. The funnel is a little further right today for Carroll. 2 really good shots in the last 3 after opening with 3 consecutive splits. Marion has now opened up the lead to 55 pins. Abby looks like she's got this natural ability to just kind of allow her bowling ball to just float through the front part of the lane. We'll see it in a moment. But first, it's Bartlett. It's getting down to it now, folks. 8th frame. Carroll needs a run, and they need it now. I think Abby's got to take that. I would have her take a step right. Slightly spins it off her hand at the bottom. So it's just never really seeing the front part of the lane. Now that works great, you know, when the heads are kind of beat up and the heads are frying out, they're dry up front. But even though the pattern is short, high volume of oil in the middle part of the lane, especially in the front. I think she might benefit from a 5 and 2 right. Ooh, good shot. You could argue that this morning Hope has thrown the ball better than any other player on any team. She has thrown some really good shots. The score is deceiving. You see the gutter spare, mismakeable. But for the most part, her execution has been really good. So has Kylie Olsen's. Here is Olsen. She's got that one short, though. First ball execution, second ball execution. Got to be the same. You could argue that some coaches might tell you that second ball execution has to be better than the first. I told you, whoever makes the most spares today, whether it's Marion, Carroll, or Aurora, that's the team that's going to win and advance to the NCAA tournament. Oh, nice time for Elena to drop her first strike. It comes in the 8th frame. Extends the lead to 64 pins for Marion. Ooh, well, that's a tough break there for Shortino. You hate to say that was, you know, kind of Carroll's final hope, but, you know, much like yesterday, right? We watched Lori Decker throw 6 out of the first 7 in the match, Elmhurst versus Marion, and you knew that, you know, Lori Decker was going to give Elmhurst a chance if she could continue to strike. Her Lori string ended in the 9th. She's unable to strike. She made the spare, but you knew if she had struck in the 9th, And then no matter what happened, as long as she marked into 10, that ended up being the situation anyway. But I'm convinced that if Decker had struck in the 9th frame yesterday, Elmhurst was going to take that traditional point from the Sabres. But the Sabres today out with a 76-pin lead. They're still trying to keep him close. It's go time for Carroll here in the 9th frame. Mentioned Marion 10-2 on the year. Regular season CCIW meets, they went 5-1 in meet 1 and 5-1 in meet 2. Elmhurst used that meet to go 5-1, and that's what helped them advance. Oh, nice ball change. Nice ball change for Hannah Bartlett. Something that allowed her to get it down the lane. I don't know if somebody was listening to me, but it looked like Abby made a move right. You feel like Hope should probably be at about 220 right now, the way she's thrown the ball. But Elmhurst went 5-1, Marion went 5-1, also in CCIW meet 1. I'm sorry, those stats were from meet 2. It says meet 1, but it's meet 2. Big spare. 2-4-5s go a long way. Oh, Shortino. And Marion just keeps on matching Carroll, doing what they have to do. Ava had to have that one to give them a little bit of a chance late, depending on what happens here. Eggert, 2-pin just stands. Well, you never know. But you hate to have a missed single pin right there. Shakira. Same zone as Eggert, and Carroll is going to take a lot, but they will have an opportunity. Really important double from Elena there for Marion. Only one double heading into the 10th frame. That's for Ava, but look out. All right. Carroll's got a shot. They got to make up 93 pins. If they can get it close and have it be within 30 by the time they get down to Sam Shortino and Ava, but if they can get it down to about 30 pins, as you just watched the open frames from Eggert and Shakira, right? So they won't have a mark to go into the 10th frame on. Bartlett threw it good last time out. 2, 4, 5. Out of Giddings. Yep. She moved up just a couple boards right, folks, and it feels like probably she's got the world now. It's a good spare. That was huge. Now it's the battle just went from a battle to about a war now for Carroll. That's going to be hard to top. Well, I'd have loved to see her just even get it a little further right. I think she can get more further right. I think she's got more boards right to her. Big time 10th frame. Carroll, with anybody with strikes, they're looking essentially to do what Abby just did. And that's put up 2 more in the 10th frame. It was a good opportunity there. Missed the target. They had hope. Just a 6-pin there for Olsen. Spare puts her in the 2-0s with good count. And Hope missed that one. Late love on the 10-pin. Carroll not going down without a fight. Curious if Olsen will try a different ball here. Just to see what she has kind of preparing for, and she will. as she moves into Baker. Now this is a bowling ball that she threw a little bit yesterday. I can't think or see the label. It looks like an Optimum Idol, but I'm not sure. Interesting to see how clean this one will be. It's got some surface on it though. The question will be how smooth is it? Will it miss the spot? Nice audience this morning checking in. We appreciate you tuning in. Semifinal number 2. Again, top seed Marion of Wisconsin versus second seed Carroll. Mega match format. Traditional game first, followed by a 5-game Baker second. Should the teams be tied at 1 point each, meaning one team won the traditional, the other team won the 5-game Baker, we head to the best of 7 tiebreaker, which also will be in the Baker format. .201. So when you get 201 and 192 up top in the lineup, that's a really, really good start. And that's why you have those individuals up top, and that for the lineup placement perspective. Shortino. Here's Elena. But Marion all but have this one wrapped up. Looking for more, and they have it. Boy, and Elena, who didn't get her first strike until frame 8, has now put together a 3-bagger and could end up being the highest scoring player in the match. One more strike here would put her there. Good run there, though, for Elena. Marion is going to take the traditional game. Good break there for Ava. This frame for Ava, just utilize everything she's got. I think she can move a little further right so she can be a bit more square to the target, so she doesn't have to kind of give it away. Those extra couple boards that she's going left to right, if she can just square up a little bit, I get her a better overall read on what's happening. 197. That's better. Just kind of float it. She's a bit firm. So I think for her, she's got to always kind of pay attention to her ball speed. Her rev rate is not that high, and in relationship to her ball speed, Courtney is going to give her another bowling ball. The head pin is up, and golden opportunity again to try that. All right. $165 for Ava, 189 for Shortino in the 4th spot. 828 is the number. fill shot opportunity for Marion. Brianna Clemens, the sophomore from Kenosha, Wisconsin. She was down on the warm-up pair. She will get a fill shot here. We may see one additional player get a fill shot. Or maybe not, though, because I'd love to see Shakira utilize the 10th frame to the best of her abilities. Maybe throw one different ball. See what you got there. Well, that wasn't a bad shot, all things considered, for Clemens. Like a phase 2. Something smooth and predictable. Still see the difference, though, right? She still needs to be a little bit closer to the friction. Look out. .148 there. Doesn't mean anything, of course, in the grand scheme of it. They win the traditional, but that was a missed opportunity there for Brenna to try something on the fill. 3 190s and a 201. And Marion bowled their best game in the traditional and their highest of any team. All right, so there'll be a few minutes, and then it's 5-game Baker time, and we'll have that for you next here on the Blue Jays Sports Network. 5-game Baker is now officially underway. So again, Baker competition, typically 5 players will bowl 2 frames each, or if you're like Aurora, you throw all 7 players into your Baker lineup, all 7 players in the roster. And you have 4 players bowling 1 frame, 3 players bowling 2 frames, and you find yourself in the CCIW championship. But the traditional aspect of it is 5 players, 2 frames each. Of course, you can substitute in and out, or you can substitute in, I should say. The player who is substituted out cannot return to the lineup in the same game. They can come back in the next game. This is total pinfall, and so all 5 Baker games will be added up. I'll be keeping track and keeping tally for you. Oh. Now, if you've been watching, I told you about frames 5 or 6 in the traditional that I anticipated Marion to come out much stronger, much like they did against Elmhurst, where they shot 223, 213 out the gates in their 5-game Baker total pinfall, which led to a 2-0 mega match win. I said that because it was very clear that they were much more comfortable on the pattern today after, again, applying the lessons they learned yesterday. It was clear that the majority of the team, even though Brenna struggled score-wise, I think she still has an understanding of what she needs to do on the lanes. And so for that, I anticipated Marion to come out strong. Carroll has to match them all the way through, and they will need a big game at some point, speaking of Carroll. But this is where they shined last night, specifically in the best of 7 in Baker, where they their final 4 games is what won them the match. Good spare. Double 7 spare. A 3-pin opportunity. Eggert handles. If Shakira can get to the pocket, right? This is where, as a team, you got to say, okay, listen, our best player still trying to figure some things out. We got to take it upon ourselves to make her job a little bit easier today, right? She can't carry us today. We got to carry her, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's why team bowling is so unique in that aspect. Team anything is so unique in that aspect. Even your best players won't have it all the time. But if Shakira can be around the pocket, leave herself makeable spares, she's a really good spare shooter. Fills frames at a 77.8% clip. These are updated through February 24th. Those numbers go up, though, in Baker. Obviously, she spends a ton of time in the anchor position. And so her average per frame in Baker, 19.09, based about 19.1. So if we were to equate that to a full average, it'd be about 191. 80% fill percentage in Baker. Just second behind in both of those categories to Lori Decker. Four-pin tapped the 7. Carroll doing a great job of keeping it clean. That's the best way to make sure the match is as even as it possibly can be. And our next match or next session is scheduled to begin at 11 a.m. and it will feature the Aurora University Spartans, who have got themselves a spot in the title match. When I was looking at some stats, one of the players that stood out to me for Marion was the player who was not named Jocelyn Eggert or Brenna Shakira. Great shot there again for Hope. And it was Kylie Olson. And I noticed that she was near the top of several categories. Baker format strike percentage in it. And after watching her for the full day yesterday and this morning, it's pretty easy to see. As a lefty, and sometimes the left side obviously can be hit or miss. But she's been really, really solid overall. Again, Carey has been the kryptonite for Olson. Hook a ton. 2-4-10. Right, she gave it a run, but count obviously most important. Eggert, you bet. Could be good. All right, so another opportunity at a fill shot for Shakira. Meanwhile, Shortino. Big split conversion in the ninth. Max score now for Carroll 196. Important spare for the total pins, obviously, but I think for me, most importantly, Shakira gets a chance to try a different bowling ball. I don't know if she will, if she'll make a move. I see some teammates pointing. She's going to go to the hammer effect. And Ava. Spare will put Carroll in the 180s. It could be about a either 19, 20 pin difference, depending on what happens here. .203, pretty solid start. Ava did keep the red ball in her hand, which I think is an IQ to a ruby. Definitely does seem to, it's cleaner certainly than the other piece of equipment that she was using. Stores energy a little bit better. Therefore, storing that energy in the front and then utilizing it down lane. 184 for Carroll. So it will be a 19 pin advantage for Marion after one. Giddings not wasting any time, and for good reason. Unfortunate 9-pin though. If you're just joining us, Marion leads this mega match 1-0 over the number 2 seed Carroll. Emil Williams Jr. here with you. CCIW Conference Championship right here on the Elmhurst Blue Jays Athletic Sports Network. Elmhurst is the host. Great shot there for Hannah Bartlett. Look out. Giddings misses the 9-pin. Waiting in the wings, there's Coach Rich. Aurora University is in the building. They are scheduled to compete at 11 a.m. I got to tell you, folks, I don't know. I know that Hope, according to her bio online, actually, no, her major is not listed. I'm sorry. She is a junior. But I'm telling you, if she put in, she spent the entire summer just solely working on her game in this sport. She's got this natural ball roll that works really well. And sometimes when you have players who can just do or have natural gifts, and you just kind of sow those seeds and they start to sprout, she could be really good. Here comes Carroll. How about Shortino? 4 in a row. Make it 5. Boy, Carroll has stepped up here in game 2 and has stolen the momentum and the energy. This is also where you kind of start to pay attention and you say, okay, has one lane developed into the better lane? And that will come into play certainly if we get to the best of 7 tie break. Looking for 6 in a row. Good shot there for Bartlett. And she'll have a 10 pin to work with. Eggers puts one down in the 4th. And the temperature in the building is starting to rise. And an even better spare. Uh-oh. Oh. Oh, Brenna Shakira. Shakira. She came back like, hey, let's get it going now. She came back and I was able to read her words clearly, and she looked at Coach Petrin and said that was a little too fast. Oh my, wow. Holy mackerel, how do you leave that? I can't say I've ever seen this leave for a right-handed player. The 6'8", 10 for a right-handed player. Didn't get count, unfortunately. And now back-to-back opens for Carroll after such a hot start. They cannot allow this game to get away from them. This is a game where you gotta come out of here at least at this point with 210 or better, at least. Especially when Marion is the best they can now shoot is 198. You gotta at least shoot 210 here. Preferably 220, but 210 at least. Shortino, that's a good shot. Oh yeah. Give it to her. An opportunity for 230 exists. Marion with a 19-pin lead after one game here in the 5-game Baker total. Carroll's going to take the lead, but they could put a stamp on it early. First shot here would be tremendous for Ava and Carroll. Good shot. Nearly an 8-10. That's okay. Be happy with that shot. Caught a little bit of that oil. And it's a pretty clean bowling ball. It's not the strongest bowling ball by any stretch either, and so had to travel through a lot of viscosity, if you will. Very important spare. Hang on. All right. All right, so they do have 210 just about locked up. You see Coach Ermish. You see her in the bottom right of your screen talking to Ava. Coach Ermish, very hands-on coach right there. She's getting in it, talking about follow-throughs. Meanwhile, for Marion, they're trying to salvage 170 here. Big 40-pin swing in this game alone. .213. Now at 397 after 2. And if Shakira strikes out here, the deficit for Marion would then be 17 pins. So a complete reversal, but that's not going to happen. Now spare strike makes Marion's deficit 30 pins. Rough game there for Marion. For Aurora. And they are in the building. I think right now getting themselves prepared. They're in the locker room. After a 19-pin advantage, Marion shoots 153 in game 2. Carroll shoots 213. For Carroll, that's their highest Baker game. That's a brutal break. Highest Baker game for Carroll. Again, and since they made the move right during yesterday's or last night's best of 7 tiebreaker against Elmhurst, their last 6 Baker games now are 208, 202, 205, 210, 184, and 213. Those are the last 6 Baker games dating back to last night for Carroll. We'll see if this right lane is a little bit better. Curious. Hope. Pretty excited about that, and you certainly understand that she missed a couple in the traditional. Allison gets a break. We talked about fortunate bowling balls going in the channel. Now one from each team. Carroll had a channel dweller, and now Marion with a channel dweller. Good spare. Awesome count though, but most importantly, handled their business, made the spare. Bang. Right on cue for Marion. First strike. It's the first strike of this game for either team. But right now, Carroll being a single pin shooting machine. Oh, whoa, whoa. Shakira. But that's what the 7-pin was singing to Brenna right there. They're like, hey, that almost did not go down. That's a good shot. I don't know if that was on purpose, but it looked like Abby kind of slowed that one down a little bit. The ball speed was a little slower, a bit more controllable. Hold on, ball. Hold on, ball. Both players or both teams trading missed single pins. Meanwhile, Hope carrying the 7-10. Talked about conference championship weekend across NCAA women's bowling. And Conference USA has settled on a couple of players or teams, excuse me, to vie for the championship. Wichita State, I believe, is going to face Jacksonville State. They are bowling right now, in fact. They actually lead the mega match after one. They won the traditional game 10-18 to 10-04. Now, Wichita State has to defeat Jacksonville State twice, so they've got to win 2 mega matches over in Conference USA. Elena, 7-pin late to go, but it does. This one feels like the pivotal match or pivotal game here. Again, Shortino try to salvage a possible 180. Now they're looking at 170. Well, big moment here for Marion. If Egger can strike and set up Shakira in the 10th frame. Bang. So max score here of 214. Is what is awaiting Marion. That's with 3 strikes in the 10th here for Brenna. Got to get to the spot. It sees it. Shakira, I think she's had the right idea, and I think she saw the picture clearly for the most part. It's just really been about lining up her angle and how to best line up to see or to allow her ball to see it down lane. And the friction down lane, you got to be about 3-4-ish. Right, that is what we've learned on this pattern. Again, it's 34 feet, so the break point is still going to be closer to the gutter. Got to get there. See, it just didn't quite get there. Right, it's probably about a 2-board difference, left. It's subtle, but plays such a huge role, and that is what we have learned here this weekend. Specifically at this center and this pattern. You almost have to hit the break point perfectly. Go ahead and bounce it. At 201, that still is going to work wonders because Carroll can only shoot 160. And so literally both of these teams keep going back and forth. Big game, low game, and then they reverse. Big game, low game for the opposing team. .160 for Ava. Again, if you're joining us late, Marion leads Carroll 1-0. They won the traditional game 931 to 828. Now Marion at 5:57 for 3. And Carroll at 5:57. Folks, we are tied with 2 games left here in the 5-game Baker. How about that? Makes the scoring part easier. All right, both teams started with splits, but fortunately 26 has got to be reset or respot, excuse me. It's like a 4-6-7 according to the lane monitor. So to me, right, this lane, or not this lane, excuse me, this pair starting to go through its next phase of transition. And I think there's been a couple phases already, in my opinion, right? The first phase is after the 10 minutes of practice. Then you get through about the first 5 to 6 frames of the traditional. And that's when typically you start to see some changes on a pair of lanes. Now, you know, you go through the latter half of the traditional game. Now we are 3 games past here in the Baker, and you start to see another transition. And typically you start to see more hook down lane, right? These bowling balls are removing oil. They absorb it. It's still pushing down. There's some carry down, but they are removing oil each and every time. And so especially for someone like Kylie, who is using a pretty strong bowling ball, you know, she might be next up for a ball change. We'll see how the rest of the righties kind of handle things. Oh, wow. Brutal. Uh-oh. Again, we are tied at 5:57 each after 3. Eggert looks pretty dialed in now. That's got a chance. Right off the corner. That was like an old school down and in right there. I'm going to point the gutter. Boy, that one saw it beautifully. Roll. Or the hook skid roll phase. Or phases. That was a dynamite shot there from Shakira, and that's what you need and you ask for from your best two players, right? It's not going well in the start of the lineup, and earlier in the traditional, I'm like, hey, the rest of the team, they rallied around Brenna, didn't have a great game in the traditional, still had a good idea of what was happening, but struggled with carry, a couple of splits, etc., and so forth. But you get Eggert and Shakira lined up, and they're going to deliver for you the majority of the time in that 4, 5, or 4th and 5th frame, and certainly the 9th and 10th. Giddings will take the 2. Ava misses the head pin right. Olsen looks down. Oh. Oh. That's a hurtful 10 pin right there. That hurt. Over in the SWAC championship, Alabama State competing in this morning. I believe Prairie View has already earned a spot into the SWAC championship match. That will be on the air on ESPN Plus later today. So it looks like Alabama State and Southern are facing off here in the morning. Again, the winner will advance to face Prairie View A&M, again on national television at the International Training and Research Center. So it is that Sunday, folks. We'll know all of the automatic qualifiers. Over the GLVC, Maryville has a spot in the championship, and then they need an opponent, and that is being decided as we speak as well. All right, good spare. Oh, Hope again. She's had her fair number of strikes today. Crossing over. If you're Carroll, you have to limit your open frames here late. It's also pretty clear that maybe the right lane is the better of the two at this point. 4 splits on the left lane here for Marion. Uh-oh. Hook, hook, hook. 2-4-5. Big shot there for Shakira. One more puts him in the 160s. .157 for Marion, but Carroll did them a grand favor, and that is opening in the last 2 frames. Ava would be clutch if she can double here. That ball just wiggles, and we actually have the possibility of still being tied. Well, Carroll is going to have a 2-pin lead. And if Marion goes on to win this 5-game Baker, the last 3 frames for Carroll in this game, they're going to think back on this one and missed opportunities for sure. You know, if they spare they're in at least the 180s. They probably add about 30 pins, and they take a 30-pin-ish lead, at least 25 or so. Now it's just a 2-pin lead, and that's essentially nothing. Aurora is here, and they have begun to We can start warming up down on 31 and 32. So Carroll, who has total pin, I'm sorry, leading after 4, I beg your pardon, had choice, from what I understood, talking to the officials, of which lane they wanted to be on. Oh, ball change. Ball change there for Giddings. That one definitely had a little bit of shine to it. So Carroll chose to stay on the right lane. I do think this has turned out to be the better of the two at the moment. Now, if you're wondering why the higher seed did not have the opportunity to choose, the higher seed chose which lane they wanted to begin on. Okay? Which lane they wanted to begin the 5-game Baker. They also had choice of which lane they wanted to begin on during the traditional. But in this situation, it's the higher team, or the team that has or the team, excuse me, that is leading after 4 games heading into the final game 5. That's who has choice. Big spare out the gates. Again, Carroll leads by 2 pins, trying to keep their season alive and head to the best-of-7 tiebreaker. Olsen, oh, gets a break. Four and 2, the 7. That's got a hook. I'm telling you that Hope, I don't think she knows how good she could possibly be. Right? Because what she did there, that laydown point, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that tour players do. Remember, folks, I told you earlier, whoever's going to come out and win this conference championship is going to be the team today that makes the most spares. And it's going to be true in this game 5. Whoever can fill the most frames is going to win this particular Baker portion. If it's Carroll, that means we go to the best-of-7 tiebreaker. If it's Marion, that means they will advance to face Aurora in the CCIW Conference Championship. Allison Will willing the pins down. Shortino. Oh, and Shortino, which looked like maybe a ball change. I couldn't tell, but the color scheme looked a little bit different. Sam Shortino trying to help Carroll extend this one to a tie break. And here comes Jocelyn Eggert and the Sabres. Let's talk about some of these stats. You see Eggert in the CCIW across a lot of them. Baker double percentage 33.7% for Eggert. Percent of the time that she doubles up, and then in that setup role specifically, Ava gets a good break just leaving a single pin. Eggert in the setup situation strikes 35.6% of the time, specifically in the 9th frame, but I think it applies, honestly, in the 4-2. Shakira. Lazy 7-pin. Again, Carroll came into this final game leading by 2 pins. Got a 20-pin lead in this game already, so right now they lead by 22. Oh no. That one would have picked the 10-pin clean off right there, but we're not playing low ball today. That's the opposite of what Carroll is needing. Brenda Shakira, 77% single pin spare percentage. That actually seems low for me, for her. And I know she's a really good spare shooter. How about Hannah? Jocelyn Eggert actually for the CCIW, 88.7% in single pin. Ava actually is 86%. Unfortunately, miscue there in the 5th, but she's an 86% single pin spare shooter. And Marion with the late substitution. I believe that is Zoe Burr. And Hope got out of trouble there. Now, she missed the 2-8 earlier. It was online, but she was about 2 boards left of where she needed to be. And so, of course, ball looks like it's online, on target, and they only takes the 3-pin. So Courtney Ermish doing a good job right now talking with Hope on how to shoot this, how to target. Meanwhile, Zoe Burr. This one not over. Right now it's a, again, 14-pin lead overall, but 12 pins in this game. Again, Carroll entered game 5 with a 2-pin lead, 7-16 to 7-14. Carroll has to win the total pinfall Baker to extend the match to the best of 7 tiebreak. Hook a little, hook a lot. Olsen through the nose. This one might come down to the 10th frame, folks. Carroll's season is on the line. Wrapped in for Allison Will, their freshman majoring in nursing. Courtney Ermish has had to take a walk back near our booth here. Coach Petrin, he is standing just in between, or just at the ball return to the pair to our right on 27 and 28. That's the Carroll coaching staff. They've got a couple of frames left. Olsen handles the spare for Marion. Coach Mueller his post has been pretty solid. He's been back here on the concourse just to our left, or to my left, excuse me, right behind 25, really right behind lane 26. Okay, folks, here's the deal. Carroll, it's as simple as this. They cannot afford any more open frames. Simply can't have it when they've still got, Marion that is, 25, they still got 212 left. And obviously their best 2 players, Eggert and Shakira, still to go. Oh my. 4-6-7. Big moment here for Sam Shortino. Ninth frame, looking to set it up for Ava. Needs a lot of help. Six count there. I'm gonna attribute that to nerves in that moment. That is the 1-3-5-9. Good count. And so now Marion will have an opportunity, no matter what, to step up in the 9th and 10th to win the Baker set, win the mega match, and advance to the CCIW title match. This is a difficult spare, but Sortino's got to make it. Going to need some help. Oh, wow. Four opens in the last 5 frames for Carroll. That was a really good spare shot for Sortino. Meanwhile, Egger gets it one right. It's a 2-4-10, and nobody wants this thing right now. It's the opposite of pandemonium here. It's the opposite of pandemonium, Lord. It's tense. She thinks I'm talking to her, but I'm really just saying things out loud. Ava, 2-4-5. We are all riding on every shot in the building. Marion pretty good at picking up splits. They get the count. It's going to come down to Brenda Shakira. But Ava has to make this. Absolute has to make it. It's online. She handles it. Max score now 162. It would be 878. Shakira has to double. It's right. Oh, it got on the horse. Wow. Shakira has to have it. I'm curious if Ava will go first. If she strikes, it's 162. 878 is going to be the number. That's if Carroll strikes here. Would love to have them all. She's going to get 9. That's 161. 877. $164 is the number. Needs a strike and 7. Gotta have it here. Bang! Brenna Shakira, one of the top players certainly in the CCIW, especially in regards to double percentage. But it's not over yet. She needs 7. 7 is a winner by 1. 6, they tie. 5 is an L, and we're going to the best of 7 tiebreaker. Must have 7. Oh my goodness. And she got 8. That is enough. 879 to 877. Marion will face Aurora for the CCIW championship. And Carroll, who had several opportunities, unfortunately, you go back to game 4, that final 3 frames, 3 consecutive opens. And then this game, 3 consecutive opens late, ultimately the difference. 879 to 877. Carroll's season has come to an end. They were frames away, folks, from extending this to a best-of-7 tiebreak. But how about Brenna Shakira? She had been struggling with ball reaction, but I still think she had a clear picture of what to do. It was just a matter of execution, and she threw 2 of the best shots that you could throw in the moment and got enough on the fill. It was through the nose. You weren't sure if it was going to be 6, if it was going to be 7. And luckily for the Sabres, it was indeed 8. How about that? What a moment for Marion. But folks, the stage is now set. Top seed Marion defeats Carroll in the semifinal this morning. Carroll is eliminated. Marion will advance to face the number 3 seed Aurora University. Those 2 teams met again last night, with, of course, Aurora defeating Marion in a Game 7 best-of-7 tiebreaker. 4 games to 3. Aurora lost the traditional point to Marion 870 to 801 yesterday. And then Aurora came back, battled to win the 5-game Baker. That's when Marion really struggled in the Baker competition. It was 808 to 794. And then Aurora went on to win the best-of-7 tiebreak, 4 games to 3. We've got some movement to handle and to do, but do not go anywhere. It'll be about 15 to 20 minutes. We've got to move a camera, get some things set up. But when we come back, make sure you are don't go anywhere. Do not leave the Elmhurst Blue Jays YouTube channel. Matt will have a new link for you in just a little bit. I will begin moving what we need to move. And so for Matt, Lori, and the entire staff and crew for Elmhurst and the athletic department, we'll be back with you. The championship match is next. Aurora versus Marion, right here on the Blue Jay Sports Network.